Welcome along to the show and our Super Rugby ramp with the Highlanders reflecting on their worst opening 40 minutes of the season, followed by what's becoming a trademark comeback, followed by a poor kicking option where 3 flag points quickly became 2. But they'll take it, especially considering what transpired elsewhere, with the Blues finding form at home, the Chiefs can't find form anywhere at the moment, and the Crusaders taking the Force apart piece by piece. The Brumbies were far too strong for the Rebels and upsets both ways in the South African derbies. The Sharks could afford to lose their match against the Stormers, but the Bulls could not, dropping all the points to the Lions.
Well, John, I would have been happy with a draw, 31 all and 3 flag points, wouldn't you?
Well, after that performance, would have been extremely happy with that. It was. I suppose it was just a kick in the bum, really, after a performance where we were probably lucky to get any points, to be honest.
Was it a case of trying to carry on where you left off and not just being able to pull it off?
No, I don't think so. We didn't stick to our plans in the first half. We got really loose, and that clearly suited them. I think, with it being Will Kenya's under it, they had a bit of a point to prove, and I think they showed early signs in that first half that they were more than happy to use the ball, and they quite happy if it was reasonably open and loose. And so we played into those hands by trying offloads and all sorts of stuff that we hadn't been doing. It's not part of our game. So, that just gifted opportunities to them.
And not a real solid platform up front either at scrum or line-out time on which to base an attack. No,
it was a tough night there. Getting to the set piece, we battled to win set piece ball, and if we did, it was pretty untidy. Difficult to launch from that, and that was frustrating as well. But having said all that, got into a position where we could have drawn the game, and actually probably should have.
It was an amazing turnaround. It's a classic question, but what do you say at half-time when you're so far behind and things aren't going right?
Oh, we actually were, the players, everyone was relatively calm because we knew we hadn't played our game at all. We hadn't started the game, really, and we'd enabled them to do what they wanted to do and made it particularly tough for them. So we knew that if we actually played our plan and stuck to our guns, that we would be okay. And there's they scored 29 points in the first half, so we were pretty confident we were able to do that in the second half. So proved to be the case, but couldn't hold them out enough.
And as soon as you did grab that momentum and put pressure on them, they were tiring very quickly. Time was running out for them to protect that lead.
Yeah, well, it was pretty open in that first half. They did a lot of attacking, and that's actually pretty tiring stuff. And whilst they're far more acclimatised to it over here than us, of course, it's pretty warm and humid too, so it's sapping. Both sides are starting to feel that, but our guys actually, that was one pleasing thing, is we still had some tank in the tank rather in that second half to play the footy.
Looked to be a bit of a disconnect between the free-running ball carriers and perhaps the support at times that would make a break and not build on it.
Yeah, a bit slow to get to the ball carrier, I'd agree with that, and they certainly targeted that area and did that very well. But at times we were throwing passes, as I said earlier, offloads and things that put players maybe into half a hole, but actually isolated them as well. And then at times that was difficult for our support players to get there in time. But they did a really good job around that area in general, and stole a lot of ball because of that.
I think as the season's proceeded, you've got more and more confident in your expansive play, though, haven't you? So you have to say the guys are perhaps just a little bit overconfident today.
Yeah, not a case of going into the game in that way. It didn't appear to be from our perspective anyway. It's just for some reason it just panned out that way in the first half. As I say, partly due to the way they played the game, but then we sort of fell into that trap ourselves, and there were opportunities to throw passes all over the place. And the problem with that is that you lose your structure, and in our case, we went away from things that had been working really well for us.
Once again, though, that ticker, the sort of backbone to not to give up even when so far behind and really fight tooth and nail. I just felt so sorry for the guys that couldn't hang on for that for the full 3 points at least.
Yeah, that was the gutting thing. Absolutely. Everyone knew that we hadn't played well enough, but certainly in that first half. But we're confident in our ability in the second, and we put some good play on the track in that second half and worked our way back in, and things are looking a lot better. Really disappointing to fall over in the the final whistle, I suppose. But I say again, against a side who had a particular point to prove tonight, we'll try and do something for their tremendous halfback.
I know there would have been a few gasps when Aaron Smith was taken off from the fans so early in the second half when things were starting to come right, but Tanaka came on, played very well, scored a try and just added a bit of zip.
Yeah, well, that's for me, isn't it? He hasn't had chances this year because Nuggy's been playing so well. We haven't, there hasn't been a good reason to take him off the track, but it was hard work tonight. He had to do a lot of running in that first half because the ball was moving around a lot. So he's from ruck to ruck to ruck to ruck, and I think he'd admit himself it was tiring for him. So we were able to bring fresh legs on there, and Fumi, who's, we all know is a very sharp mover in any situation. So, yeah, so that showed up, and that worked well for us in the second half and did a bloody good job.
I know he had a bit of a hot and cold game, but I know there's a celebration down in Southland with the signing of Lema Sapawanga for the NPC, the ITM Cup. I think that's a great acquisition for the South to keep him down here.
Yeah, it is. Lema's had a really good season and had that the break with the injury, which was a tough time for him, and it's hard for anyone just to get straight back up to where they were prior to that. That takes a little bit of time. So, there was some good stuff tonight. Of course, there were some errors, but there were errors throughout the side. We're all guilty of that. So, hopefully Liam will just keep on building his game back up to that point that was outstanding.
And just one forward I did pick out today, and I wasn't their greatest day on the track, but I thought Shane Christie, back to his best. He was everywhere he could be, but often on his own. Yeah,
just he's consistently good, hasn't he, Shane? He's been one of the players of the season in that respect, certainly. Big impact on the game for us and very high work rate. Whether he's alone in that tonight, I don't know. But again, it's a harder job for a Seven or a Lucy to be as effective when the pattern's not quite there that we've been using. Then it becomes a bit helter-skelter. They run around with chickens with their heads cut off. So that's a tough job for anyone. But again, he just keeps going and does an enormous amount of work.
Well, you'll come home with 2 points, so the damage isn't by any means fatal. You're still very much in the competition in the way that people are beating each other, still very much in that frame. Yeah,
absolutely, and that's thank goodness for that. Could easily have been none, I suppose, and then we'd really be kicking ourselves. So we live another day, and we've got looking forward to the 3 matches when we come back, and they're all getting to very interesting situations, as you say. They're all going to be bloody tough. Everyone's playing for pennies, so it's going to be some good football to look forward to after the break.
Yeah, and you're playing teams that are also vying for positions, so really you couldn't have it better, really. You're going to control your destiny, as the cliche goes.
Yeah, that's right, and that's always the way, really, if you're in the hunt, in the competition. That's the case. You just got to keep on performing, and the boys I think, will be pretty determined to do so. Everyone feels that we let ourselves down tonight in terms of our performance, so we don't want to go back. We didn't want to go back to where we were and actually go beyond that and keep improving. So obviously that'll be what we're looking to try and achieve.
And you've done what other Highlanders teams haven't done in the past, is win, lose or draw. You're picking up bonus points all the time. And boy, they're mounting up and are significant this year.
Yeah, they have been. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not quite sure how many we've picked up now in total. You might have to tell me, but it certainly keeps you in the hunt. And it's a crucial part of the game in this competition, I think. I don't think sides... In fact, I've seen it before where some sides have had more wins than others, but they just haven't picked up any bonus points and they get surpassed. So regardless of how you perform, you've got to try and get something out of the game. And so we did that tonight with another 2 points.
The Sharks are certain to finish in the top 3, but have their premium spot for semi-final hosting rights now under threat from both the Tues and Crusaders, neither of whom are sure of winning their own conference, but they are definitely the form sides within their zones. Helping the Highlanders is the fact the other two in the playoff mix have played an extra game, plus there are only 2 genuine chasers below in the Force and Chiefs, neither of whom are peaking or even close thereto. A handful of sides are taking turns to anchor the table. The Cheetahs this week have that dubious honour.